As your eyes slowly adjust, you realize you're lying on a pile of straw stuffed into a rough cloth sack. Not a mattress, just straw. Then you hear people. Someone coughing violently nearby. A child crying. Quiet murmuring in a language that sounds familiar but strange at the same time. You turn your head and see shapes in the dim light. Several people sleeping in the same room. One man snores loudly. Two small kids lie curled together under a thin blanket. In the corner, something shifts, and you realize it's a goat tied near the wall. Yes, there's a goat inside the house. Cold air slips through cracks in the wooden walls, brushing across your face. Your breath fogs in front of you. Wherever you are, there's no insulation, no heater, nothing keeping the cold out. Just a weak fire smoldering in the center of the room, its smoke drifting upward and escaping through a hole in the roof. Your brain scrambles for logic. Maybe it's a prank. Some weird immersive experience. Hidden cameras. But the smells, the cold, the rough texture under your hands. Everything feels too real. A woman notices you moving. She looks surprised you're awake, then says something you barely understand. Before you can ask where you are, she presses a rough piece of bread into your hand and gestures toward the door. Outside, the faint gray light of early morning leaks through the wooden planks. You step out. Mud. Everywhere. Thick, wet mud sucks at your bare feet. Small huts made of wood and straw stretch around you, smoke rising from their roofs. Chickens wander freely, a skinny dog runs past. In the distance, people are already working, carrying buckets, leading animals, hauling tools toward open fields. And the smell hits you harder outside than it did inside. Rotting waste, animals, smoke, and unwashed bodies mixed into one permanent odor. No cars, no electric lights, no distant city noise. Just wind, animals, and people starting another day of labor. That's when the realization finally settles in. You're not dreaming, you're not visiting. You're here, somewhere in medieval Europe. And judging by the way everyone around you moves with tired routine, this isn't an adventure. This is just another normal morning. And in a few minutes, someone is going to expect you to start working. You're still trying to understand what's happening when someone shoves a wooden bucket into your hands. No explanation, no gentle wake-up, just expectation. The man from the hut, probably your father in this new reality, points toward a distant well and starts speaking quickly. You catch only parts of it, but the message is clear enough. Water. Now. Your body aches as you walk. The ground is freezing beneath your feet, and the morning air bites through your thin clothes. Back home, mornings meant coffee, maybe a quick shower, scrolling your phone while waking up slowly. Here, the day starts immediately, and everyone already looks exhausted. The village is alive with movement. People haul tools. Children chase chickens out of pathways. Women carry bundles of wood twice their size. No one smiles, no one chats casually. Work begins before the sun fully rises because daylight is precious. Every hour counts when survival depends on crops growing correctly. You reach the well and join a small line. Nobody complains about the wait. They simply stand there quietly, half awake, shivering. A boy younger than 10 hauls water like he's done it his entire life. Because he has. Childhood here isn't cartoons and school buses, it's labor. When your turn comes, you struggle to pull the heavy bucket up. Your soft, modern hands burn against the rough rope. The others notice. One old woman laughs, toothless, shaking her head at your weakness. To them, you look useless. By the time you carry the water back, your arms shake and your shoulders ache, and you haven't even eaten. Inside the hut, breakfast waits, or what passes for breakfast. A chunk of hard bread and something like thin porridge. No sugar, no flavor. Just warm paste meant to stop hunger, not satisfy you. You eat because your stomach growls, but it barely helps. You're still hungry when the bowl is empty. And then comes the real work. You're handed a crude farming tool and pushed toward the fields beyond the village. Endless rows of soil stretch ahead. Men and women bend over, digging, planting, clearing stones, repairing fences. No machines, no shortcuts, just bodies and tools. The sun finally rises, but it brings little warmth. Your hands blister quickly. Your back screams from bending over. After 30 minutes, you want to rest. After an hour, you're exhausted. But nobody stops. An old man nearby coughs constantly, yet keeps working. A pregnant woman works beside him, slower but still moving. A boy, barely tall enough to hold his tool, struggles to keep up with adults. This isn't temporary effort. This is life. You look around waiting for a break. None comes. Because if the crops fail, people starve. Winter doesn't care if you're tired. And as the morning drags on, hunger still gnawing at your stomach, hands raw and muscles burning, one terrifying realization settles into your mind. This isn't a bad day. This is every day. By midday, you notice something you somehow ignored at first. The dirt never leaves you. Your hands are filthy. Your clothes are filthy. Your face feels sticky with sweat and smoke. Soil clings under your fingernails no matter how much you scrape it away. Back home, you'd shower after work, maybe twice a day in summer. Here, the idea of washing properly barely exists. When work pauses for a short meal, you instinctively look for somewhere to clean up. A sink, running water, anything. Instead, people simply wipe their hands on their clothes and start eating. Bread passes from hand to hand. No one thinks about germs because no one even knows what germs are. You try rubbing your hands with water from your bucket, but it barely helps. The water is cloudy anyway, probably the same water everyone drinks. Later you ask, awkwardly, through gestures, where the bathroom is. The answer comes with laughter. Someone points behind a shed outside the village. There's no building, no privacy, just a patch of land people use. Waste sits exposed until rain washes it away, or animals spread it around. And this is normal. As the day goes on, the smells grow stronger under the rising heat. Animals roam freely, leaving manure everywhere. Waste piles up near houses. Smoke from cooking fires mixes with the stench, creating an odor that never fully disappears. Everyone smells like sweat, mud, and livestock. And then come the itching. At first you think it's just sweat drying on your skin. But as hours pass, the itching spreads. Your neck, your arms, your legs. When you scratch, you feel tiny bites, fleas, maybe lice. People scratch constantly without even noticing anymore. Kids pick at their hair. Adults casually crush bugs between their fingers. Nobody is clean. Nobody expects to be. Clothes rarely get washed properly. Soap is expensive and hard to make. Most people own only 1 or 2 outfits anyway. You sweat in them, sleep in them, work in them day after day. Bathing happens occasionally, maybe in rivers or public bathhouses if you're lucky enough to live near one. But regular bathing? That's a luxury. And in winter, washing can be dangerous because wet clothes and freezing air lead to sickness. By evening, your body feels coated in grime. Your skin crawls. Your hair smells like smoke and sweat. You would give anything for 5 minutes under a modern shower. Back in the hut, everyone piles in again for the night. The goat shifts in the corner. Someone coughs endlessly. The air thickens with smoke and body odor. Fleas jump from straw bedding onto your skin. You lie down, exhausted, dirty, itching everywhere. And slowly you realize the worst part. Tomorrow you wake up just as dirty, and there's no escape from it. By the second day, hunger becomes your constant companion. Not the mild hunger you feel when you skip lunch, not the late-night craving that sends you to the fridge. This is deeper, slower, a hollow feeling that never fully goes away. Your stomach feels heavy and empty at the same time, and your body moves slower like it's running on fumes. Breakfast looks exactly like yesterday's: hard bread, slightly sour, and a thin porridge made from grains and water. No sugar, no milk, no spices, just enough to keep people standing. You chew slowly, hoping it somehow becomes more filling, but the portion disappears in seconds. Back home, you had choices: eggs or cereal, coffee or juice. Maybe you'd order something on your phone without even getting out of bed. Here, food isn't about enjoyment, it's fuel, and barely enough of it. Work starts again immediately after eating, and physical labor makes the hunger worse. Every swing of your tool drains energy you don't have. By mid-morning, your stomach growls loudly enough that people nearby notice. They laugh, not cruelly, just knowingly. Everyone feels the same. Lunch isn't much better. A shared pot of vegetable stew, mostly cabbage, onions, maybe carrots if the harvest was decent. Meat is rare. Animals are too valuable alive, producing milk or helping in fields. Killing one is a big decision, usually saved for special occasions or desperate times. You search your bowl for anything substantial and find mostly watery broth. It fills your stomach briefly, then disappears as soon as work resumes. As the day drags on, you learn the real fear everyone carries: winter. People talk about it quietly. Bad harvests, crops failing, long winters where food stores run low, families stretching bread thinner and thinner until nothing remains. Some villagers remember years when people starved, not in distant lands, right here. You start noticing how thin everyone looks: arms lean from constant labor, faces sharp, cheeks hollow. Even strong men look wiry instead of muscular. Food scarcity shapes bodies here. Children feel it worst. A small boy works nearby, his clothes hanging loosely on his thin frame. He eats quickly whenever food appears, like he's afraid it might vanish. And sometimes it does. As evening comes, dinner mirrors the rest of the day: bread, maybe leftover stew. No snacks, no late-night meals. Once food runs out, that's it until morning. Your stomach still aches as you lie down on the straw bedding. Hunger doesn't let you sleep easily. You think about pizza, burgers, cold drinks, things you once ate without thinking, things you sometimes wasted. Here, wasting food could mean someone goes hungry tomorrow. And as your body slowly drifts toward restless sleep, you understand something terrifying. In this world, hunger isn't temporary. It's part of everyday life. A few days pass, and your body finally begins to adjust to the labor, the hunger, the cold. You start thinking maybe you can survive here after all. Then someone gets sick. It starts with coughing from the old man who works beside you in the fields. At first, nobody pays attention. People cough all the time here. Smoke fills every home. Winters are brutal, and everyone works in all weather. Getting sick is normal. But his coughing grows worse. Wet, painful, constant. He struggles to stand straight. By afternoon, he can't keep up with the others. The overseer sends him home, not out of kindness, but because a slow worker is useless. The next morning, he doesn't show up. You ask what happened, and someone simply shrugs. Fever, they say. Bad lungs. Maybe God's will. Life continues. The fields still need work. Later that evening, you see his family gathered outside their hut. The old man lies inside, wrapped in blankets, shaking with fever. There's no doctor, no medicine cabinet, no pharmacy. Just his wife placing wet cloths on his forehead and whispering prayers. Someone brings herbs. Another neighbor mutters about evil spirits or bad air. Everyone has a theory, but nobody really knows how to help. In your world, this would mean antibiotics, oxygen, hospital care. Here it means hope, and hope is unreliable. You start noticing other injuries too. A farmer sliced his hand while chopping wood. The cut is swollen and red now. Another worker limps from an infected blister that never healed. A woman nearby suffers constant tooth pain, her face swollen as she tries to work through it. There are healers, of course, people who know herbs and remedies passed down through generations. Sometimes they help, sometimes they don't. Surgery, when it happens, is crude and terrifying. No anesthesia. Basic tools. Infection often follows. Even small injuries are dangerous. You realize how often you get tiny cuts and bruises in normal life. Paper cuts, scrapes, burns from cooking, things you barely notice. Here, any one of those could turn serious. Children suffer the most. A young boy in the village develops a fever one night. By morning, he's weaker. By the next day, the whole family is crying outside their home. And then life continues. No investigation, no medical explanation. People grieve quickly because they have to. Crops still need harvesting. Animals still need feeding. Survival doesn't pause for mourning. The terrifying truth slowly settles in. People here don't expect long lives. Many children never reach adulthood. Many adults never reach old age. Illness is common, unpredictable, and often fatal. That night, lying in the smoke-filled hut, you feel your throat scratch slightly. Maybe from the cold air, maybe from smoke, or maybe something worse. And for the first time since arriving, you realize something truly frightening. If you get seriously sick here, there's almost nothing anyone can do to save you. Just as life begins to settle into a miserable routine, the danger arrives without warning. One afternoon, while you're working in the fields, you notice people looking toward the road. At first, it's just curiosity. Then you hear it. Distant shouting, metal clanking, horses moving fast. The sound carries across the fields and suddenly everyone stops working. Panic spreads faster than words. Someone yells and people start running toward the village. Tools drop to the ground. Mothers grab children. Men rush to gather animals. Nobody explains anything to you, but fear is universal. You follow them back, heart pounding. From the hill near the village, you finally see them, soldiers, dozens of them marching along the road. Armor patched together, weapons hanging from belts, banners you don't recognize flapping above them. Some ride horses, others walk, but all of them look exhausted, dirty, and dangerous. You expect discipline, order, heroic warriors like in movies. Instead, they look hungry, and hungry soldiers are bad news. The village leaders rush forward, trying to negotiate, bowing respectfully. But soldiers don't travel with supply trucks or organized food deliveries. They take what they need from whoever is nearby, which means you. Within minutes, soldiers enter the village. Chickens disappear into sacks. Grain stores are opened. One soldier drags away a squealing pig, while the owner shouts helplessly. Nobody fights back. Fighting soldiers means death. You watch a woman beg as a soldier grabs food meant to last her family through winter. He pushes her aside without hesitation. Another group enters homes, searching for anything useful: food, tools, blankets. A soldier laughs as he drinks from someone's storage barrel. Another threatens a man who protests too loudly. Fear hangs in the air like smoke. You finally understand something brutal. In medieval times, war isn't something far away on battlefields. It walks into villages, it eats your food, it burns your home. Rumors spread quickly. Another village nearby was looted last month. Some houses burned. A man killed for resisting. Nobody here even knows who these soldiers fight for. One lord against another. Borders shifting. Power struggles between people you'll never meet, and ordinary people pay the price. You hide near a shed as soldiers wander close, laughing loudly. One of them stares at you for a long moment, judging whether you're worth bothering. Your heart pounds so loudly you think he can hear it, then he moves on. Hours later, they finally leave, carrying food, animals, and anything valuable they found. The village is left shaken and quieter than before. Families check their stores, realizing how much is gone. Winter just became harder. And as the sun sets over a village that suddenly feels fragile, one terrifying thought settles into your mind. There are no safe zones here, no police, no emergency numbers, no protection. If soldiers come again tomorrow, you just hope they're in a good mood. Days pass, and the shock of danger fades back into routine. The fields still need work, animals still need feeding, and life moves on as if soldiers stealing half the village's food is just another inconvenience. And that's when a different realization hits you. Nothing is going to change. Back home, even on your worst days, there was always the idea that things could get better. New job, new city, new plans. People talked about future goals, careers, travel, self-improvement. Even if you felt stuck, there was always the possibility of something different. Here, possibility barely exists. You ask, carefully, through gestures and broken conversation, if anyone has ever left the village. Most people laugh. Leave? And go where? Travel is dangerous and expensive. Roads are unsafe. Cities are overcrowded and filthy. And besides, why would they leave? Their families have lived here for generations. This is life. The son of a farmer becomes a farmer. The daughter of a farmer marries another farmer. Children grow up working the same fields their parents worked, marrying within nearby villages, repeating the same routine until death. There are no career changes, no personal reinventions, no dramatic fresh starts. You notice a young boy staring longingly at traveling merchants passing through one afternoon. They carry strange fabrics, shiny tools, stories from distant towns. For a moment, his eyes light up. Then his father smacks the back of his head and sends him back to work. Dream over. Freedom, as you understand it, doesn't exist here. Even marriage often isn't about love, but survival. Alliances between families, practical arrangements to ensure land and work continue. Your entire life would depend on harvests, weather, and the demands of whoever owns the land you work. A bad season means hunger. A new lord might raise taxes. A war could force you into labor or military service whether you want it or not. And nobody asks your opinion. You realize something even heavier. People don't expect happiness. Survival is success. Making it through winter is victory. Raising children who survive to adulthood is achievement enough. One evening, sitting outside after work, you watch villagers talking quietly. No one discusses dreams or ambitions. They talk about crops, animals, sickness, weather, things that determine survival. Your modern brain struggles with the idea. No vacations, no weekends, no retirement plans. You work until your body breaks, then your children take over. And that's your story. As the fire burns low and darkness covers the village, the truth becomes impossible to ignore. You don't get to choose your future here. Your future was chosen the day you were born. At some point, your body simply stops cooperating. It doesn't happen all at once. There's no dramatic collapse in the middle of the field. Instead, exhaustion builds day after day, quietly wearing you down. Your muscles never fully recover. Your hands stay cracked and raw. Your stomach is always half empty, and sleep never feels long enough. You wake up tired, you work tired, you go to sleep tired, and eventually your mind starts breaking before your body does. One morning, the cold air hits your face as you step outside, and instead of accepting it like everyone else, you feel anger rising, real anger, at the mud, at the hunger, at the endless routine, at the fact that tomorrow will be exactly the same. You miss stupid things. Hot showers, soft beds, ordering food when you're too lazy to cook, music in your headphones, random late-night conversations with friends. Even boring workdays suddenly seem like luxury compared to this. Out in the fields, your arms move slower. Every movement feels heavier. The overseer notices and shouts at you. You try to keep pace, but your body feels empty, drained. By midday, your vision swims and black spots flicker at the edges of your sight. Then your tool slips from your hand. You sit down telling yourself it's just for a second, just to breathe. But when someone yells at you to get back up, your legs don't respond immediately. Laughter breaks out nearby. Someone calls you weak. Another worker shakes his head. And you realize something humiliating. These people survive this life. You don't. Later back in the hut, you lie on the straw bedding, staring at the smoke-darkened ceiling. Fleas bite your arms, someone snores loudly nearby, and a child coughs in their sleep. You feel trapped in a world that never gives you space to rest. For the first time, fear hits in a different way. What if this is forever? What if there's no waking up, no escape back to comfort? Just endless work, hunger, sickness, and cold until your body gives out at 30 or 40 years old? Tears sting your eyes and you don't even know why. Nothing terrible happened today. Nobody died, no soldiers came, no disaster struck. This was just a normal life. And that's what breaks you, because modern life made you soft in ways you never noticed. Comfort became normal. Convenience became expected. Choice became a right. Here, survival is the only goal. And lying there in the dark, body aching, stomach empty, mind exhausted, one truth becomes painfully clear. You wouldn't last here, not for a lifetime, maybe not even another week. You fall asleep expecting another miserable morning, another cold wake-up on a bed of straw, another day of aching muscles, empty stomach, and endless work waiting outside, smoke in your lungs, mud under your feet, the same gray sky stretching over fields that never seem to end. Instead, you wake up to silence. Real silence. No coughing, no animals shifting in the corner, no wind slipping through cracks in wooden walls. Just stillness, softness beneath you, warmth. Your eyes open slowly, a ceiling you recognize. Smooth, painted, familiar. Sunlight slips through curtains, clean and bright. For a few seconds, your brain refuses to understand what you're seeing. Then you feel it, a mattress. Soft pillows, a blanket that smells clean. Your bed. You sit up too quickly, heart racing. The room looks exactly as you left it. Clothes on the chair, phone on the nightstand, charger cable tangled beside it, everything normal, everything safe. You grab your phone, almost afraid it won't turn on. The screen lights up instantly. Notifications, messages, news headlines, weather updates, all the small things you used to ignore, electricity, internet, running water. You stand and walk to the bathroom, half expecting it to disappear. Instead, you turn the faucet and clear hot water pours out immediately. Steam fills the room as you step into the shower, and the heat washes over your skin. For the first time in what feels like forever, you're clean. No smoke, no sweat, no dirt ground into your hands, no insects biting in the dark, just warm water and soap, something you never thought twice about before. Later, you walk into your kitchen. You open the fridge without thinking, and food waits inside. Milk, eggs, fruit, leftovers, snacks. Enough food to feed a medieval family for days, just sitting there. You make breakfast, real breakfast. And as you eat, something strange happens. You feel grateful. Outside, cars pass. People head to work. Someone jogs by wearing headphones, annoyed at traffic or late meetings or spilled coffee. Ordinary problems, and suddenly, those problems don't seem so terrible. Because you've seen the alternative. A world where sickness kills without warning. Where hunger is normal. Where your future is decided at birth. Where soldiers can take everything you have. Where survival depends on weather and luck. A world where comfort doesn't exist. You sit quietly, finishing your coffee, and the final realization settles in. People love to say they were born in the wrong era. They dream about castles and knights and simpler times. But if you had truly lived there, you wouldn't have lasted. And as your phone buzzes with another ordinary notification, you understand something most people never do. Right now, today, you're living in the safest, Most comfortable time in human history, even if it doesn't always feel like it.